everybody, welcome back. This is Miss Faye, and this is my world. Today's topic is a layoff can be a blessing in disguise. A layoff could really be a blessing in disguise. Before we get started, I'd like to say welcome. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to all the new viewers, the new subscribers, and welcome to you who have been with me from the beginning. I really appreciate you. Now, to get us started, I did pull a video. Let's watch this short video, and we have a letter, and we're going to talk about this issue. A layoff could really be a blessing in disguise. Here we go.
So I just finished my work day and I see that there have been more layoffs. I see that Google laid off more of their staff. If I'm not mistaken, I saw 12,000 cuts were made between yesterday and today, or just today I think it was. And as a person who has been laid off by a big tech company, I have some advice. First thing of advice, if this is your first layoff, don't feel bad, because I felt like crap for a while after I got laid off. I thought it was something that I did wrong, and I am a hard worker. I give a lot to each job that I do. And then I had to come to terms with it was not me, it was a business decision. These big tech corporations, even if you're not in tech, these corporations are going to put the money first, not their people first. They might give you a warning, but at the end of the day, it's still a business.
Okay, you see what she said? There are a lot of folks getting laid off these days. These jobs are uncertain. And the other thing with this AI technology, I know you've noticed that the robotic industry is taking over a lot of the stores. You know, the clerk jobs and the checkout and that sort of thing is all going to be automated. So, you know, where are those people going to work? Listen, it's time for you to think about your own power. As long as you are working for someone else, they're always going to have control over you. You need to think about that, okay? A layoff is not the worst thing in the world. Let's dive right into this letter and see what she says, and we're going to talk more about it. She says, I am a 49-year-old woman, single after a divorce 11 years ago, and have 4 children. Okay. I have written you before about my toxic work environment. You advised me to find another. That's right. If it's toxic, you know, you got to look for a way out. There's no sense in staying there. I'm telling you, I've been on toxic jobs and been afraid to leave because, you know, a bird in the hand is better than 2 in the bush. You know, you're so afraid you don't feel that you can just go out and make it somehow on your own. You feel like you need a job. You need to be working for somebody else. You understand? That's a mindset. That's all that is. It's just your mind is set on you need to work for somebody else. Okay? All right. However, I didn't. Okay, so you stayed on the job. You didn't leave. Since you were too comfortable working this job as a medical doctor, the civil job, it probably was an easy peasy job, you know, and you hated to leave it, but it was a toxic environment and you were unhappy in it. Now you say, out of frustration, I feared to go. A lot of people stay in these horrible positions because of fear. And fear of the unknown. But see, once you have confidence in yourself, and plus you have strengthened your connection with the divine spirit, there is no more fear. There is no more fear because you know that the spirit is with you all the time, and the spirit will never let you fall as long as you stay on your path. Okay? Now that's the good thing. All right, so you don't worry about, whether you're going to get a job unless that's what you want, unless you want to work for somebody else. But on your spiritual path, you have the power to create your own income, people. Okay? All right, here we go. All right, she says, I feared to go to work and remained comfortable staying at home. I have been on this job for 18 years. Missing work for more than 10 days, you're faced with summary dismissal, aka instant dismissal. All right, so there is a threat of you being let go because of the days that you missed on the job. But you missed these days because you didn't want to be there anyway. You don't want to be there anyway. All right? I feel so anxious. At least I have an apartment I bought 3 months ago. Well, good for you. All right. You say bought the apartment, so there's no threat that you're going to be kicked out or anything. That's cool. My question is, why do I feel like I'm going through a divorce? It's fear. It's fear of the unknown. That's all it is. Okay? I missed work because I could not bear working in that department. My question is, do I survive this? I never expected this. Well, listen, maybe it's time for you to grow past them. You understand? Many times in our life, we are urged to do certain things. But because we're fearful, we don't pay any attention to it. We're afraid to take chances. We're afraid to step outside of our comfort zones. And so we miss opportunities. Just miss opportunities that are coming to you. Your intuition is talking to you all the time. And if you are working in a toxic environment, your intuition is telling you, why you keep coming here? Leave these people. Go do something else. You understand? But your ego is saying, are you crazy? You can't leave this job. You got to pay your rent. You can't leave here. All the bills you got. You got to stay. You got to suffer it out. That's your ego. Where your higher self is only telling you things for your better good. Your ego tells you things to survive. There's a difference. It's survival with the ego. Okay? You want to rise above that. And I'm telling you, if you get laid off from a job, it's not about you. Many times it's not about you. There are companies laying off people just like that. Listen, you need to be loving yourself, starting your spiritual journey, going inside of yourself, finding your true power so that you can manifest what you desire. You see? You can manifest a new job that you can run yourself. It'll be your business, a new business. And, I'm a big advocate and always have been of working for yourself. Even as a young woman, I always had little businesses on the side because that's what I always wanted to have, is my own business. Work for myself. I was not suited to work for other people. And the jobs that I had, I was never happy with somebody over me all day. That was like unbearable for me. So I stayed in a toxic work environment for, I know it was over 15 years. And I hated every moment of it. And it wasn't the work that I hated, and I had the kind of job that I could communicate with the community. I liked that part of it. I liked the work itself, but the office politics, I hated. I absolutely hated that, you see. And one day after I had been there and, sacrificed myself many times for the job, they decided probably it was time for me to go. I was already, in that age limit where they look at you funny anyway. So, you can feel on these jobs when they're looking at you about retirement. They start dropping hints about retirement to you. So, you know that they slowly trying to push you out the door anyway. Well, anyway, it just came to the point it was time to go. But see, for years, I always had a fear about leaving this job, and now I got to go out here and go interview, and who wants to go through all that again to get another job to go through the same thing again. You go from this job, you got somebody over your back, you go to any job. If you're working for anybody, then you got to deal with those people. You understand? So that's the way that I looked at it. And when they laid me off, I tell you, I felt like a weight had been lifted off me. A weight was lifted off me. I felt so free and happy. And I didn't know how I was going to pay my mortgage. I was as happy as I could be that finally I didn't have to deal with those people anymore. And as I went into my meditations, now I didn't go in it with fear. I went in it with confidence. My meditations. And I asked for, what I desired, And the Spirit began to lead me in a direction that I could make a living for myself. And I didn't have any direct supervisor over me either. You understand? These things can happen for you, but you need to go inside yourself to find this power. People, you don't have to stay on the job and be miserable for years and years and years and years. For what? When you really look at it many times, people, you are the skill on any job. These jobs can't function unless they have you. But the tricky thing is, you got to keep your eyes open with new automation. Many of you will be finding yourself without a job unless you have created something for yourself. And I encourage you to, all you ladies, I always try to motivate you to be self-sufficient, independent. All right? To do that, you need to have a handle on your own money. Knowing where your money is coming from and not really having to rely on somebody else to pay. You understand what I'm saying? You understand? You're relying on, running down here to punch this clock so you can get a paycheck. That's always shaky. That's not a stable situation. Not from what I see. So I hope that you understand what I'm trying to tell you here. Your layoff really could be a blessing. And I'm talking about this because so many people are being laid off. So many people are being laid off. And see, the bad part about that is, I guess another bad part about that is, people, you get a job. and you get a quote-unquote good job. So what do you want to do? You want to run out and buy the biggest home that you can afford. The biggest one, you see, because you want your peoples to see you looking grand. So you buy this big home that you can just pay the mortgage, but you're making the money with a promise to make more money. But now, guess what? The company fails. They got to lay you off. Now what? Now you got to come out of the big house and go to an apartment. People, you got to think ahead. You have to guard yourself so these things don't happen. And ladies, you guard yourself, because men are good for doing things like that, because they want to show off. You have your own little pot somewhere. Don't tell anybody where it is. And don't tell anybody you got it. Don't tell anybody how much it is. You always have your safe pot no matter what. Guard yourself. All right. I hope that you understand the message today, and I really hope that it helps someone. Now, those of you who may have a question that you would like for me to answer, my email address is in the description. And if you're looking for your affirmation for today, you don't want to miss your affirmations, because that's what helps to change the way you feel about yourself. The link is also in the description. And don't forget, these caps are also available in my online store. I want to thank you so much for your comments and your letters, and a very special thank you to those that leave a donation. I really appreciate all of you. I wish you all the very best, and I really hope to see you next time.